Welcome back, everybody. So I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded an actual video that was not a short video. So today I'll be making a video on what I did a poll recently on, and you guys wanted to actually have the video. So this is going to be the video where I talk about the nightmares that I've had since I was a child that have lasted up until this point. Now, you might be asking yourself, Jigga, why are you wearing a Sesame Street shirt in a video about nightmares? Well, I'll tell you. So I'm going to start off the video with a lighthearted nightmare that I had, and then gradually the nightmares will get more and more gruesome. So be prepared. Some of this stuff might be dark and scary, especially some of the concepts behind these nightmares. So without further ado, let's get into it. So my first dream that I'm going to cover today is this dream I had when I was about 15 years old, and it was a dark and stormy night, you know, as all these type of nightmares usually start, and it was a film noir type of nightmare. Where I was playing a detective and I was chasing down a murderer. So I finally got to the murderer. I was chasing behind him, and I finally jumped and landed the guy. And then when he turns around, who did it end up being? None other than our old pal Ernie, and he was wearing a dark trench coat with a Hitler mustache, and he goes, you know how his traditional goofy laugh is. And he goes, "You got me, Bert," but I'm not Bert. And then what does he do? He pulls out a gun and he starts shooting me. And then I wake up. And what was the cause of the shooting? Well, the person that we were sleeping over at a friend's house, and the gunshots ended up actually being somebody that was coughing in the room. So my ears heard it, and my subconscious changed the coughing to gunshots. So that was the dream about how Ernie from Sesame Street killed me. So then another kind of goofy dream nightmare is, this one was again back in high school. I was about like 19 when I had this dream. So it was with my friend John and his then girlfriend Isabel, and I'm pretty sure we had another guy with us, but I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure we did, but I'm not quite sure. So we this is back like when we did you know, questionable things when we were younger. And what we did was we all three of us built, okay, so it was actually only three of us, so all three of us, and actually we were four, never mind. So we built this ship, like a spaceship, and then we blasted off and we land on this planet. And it's kind of weird because it was like as if it was a third-person shooter, you know, like one of those like Doom type of games. So I looked down at my hands. You know, my hands were normal, and then I look at my friends, and my friends were all looking at me like I was strange, like something was wrong with me, but nothing was actually wrong with me. But all my two other friends that were there ended up turning into scarecrows, and anywhere you would look, everything was made out of hay, and the only thing that was not made out of hay was me. And everybody thought that I was weird because I was not made out of hay, but I was flesh and blood. And then they all started chasing me, and this is where the third person came in. He actually ended up being transformed into a dog made out of hay. And it was like this short, puggy looking little dog suited his personality. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's for his personality. So yeah, that was that dream. And the next dream, this one I've had, these next two dreams I've had quite frequently when I was younger. One second, I just want to make sure the other camera is recording. These next two dreams I've had quite often when I was younger. I haven't had them recently, but they were quite recurring nightmares. So the first one, this one I've had since I can remember having this dream since I was like maybe six years old and into my teens. So what I would do was, I was always an adult in these dreams, and I would buy a house, and the house had to be very particular. It had to be a one-room house that was at least 3 stories high, at least. Sometimes it was higher, and it was also huge. And what I would do after I bought the house is I would sit in the center of the room, and I always had my hand clenched. And opening my hand, I had this tiny little insignificant nothing of a green pea. And this pea would talk to me. So the pea is like this small, like, your regular pea. And as it was talking, it would start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger that the pea got, the louder the voice got. So eventually, the pea would go from, whispering softly like this, and then eventually like this, and then like that, until the entire house was filled to the brim with the pea, and I was against the corner like this, and the pea was, it wasn't screaming, it was just talking extremely loud, but it was not screaming. Now, I've had this dream at least 20 times throughout my life. I don't remember when the last time I had that dream, but I would say it was maybe like 6 years ago. And the next dream that I'm gonna talk about is another one that was recurring since I was a child. So I want to preface this by saying I am a person, I'm 6'2", and I am kind of afraid of heights. And what I do in this dream is, it always starts off normal, but then at one point I start running. And then I start running faster and faster and faster, and at one point I just jump as high as I could, and I always gain this like insane level of height during the jump, and everything feels amazing. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then eventually you get to the peak. And of course, what happens, what goes up must always come down. So I start falling, and it's like all my dreams are extremely vivid and extremely detailed, and they feel like I'm there. And some of the dreams, it's like much more intense than being in reality. So I start falling and falling and falling, and I always land. This is the ground. I always wake up right when I'm over here, right where my nose is just about to hit the ground. That's where I always wake up. And the last time I had this dream, what I did was, it was at a theme park, La Ronde, so Six Flags, commonly known as now. And we have this roller coaster called the Monster. It's the biggest wooden roller coaster in Canada. I'm not sure if it's in the world, but it is one of the biggest wooden roller coasters. It doesn't loop or anything, it just goes, it has very high peaks and very low lows. So I start running, and then I start running down the tracks, gain momentum, and I start running to the peak of the tracks. And when I'm at the top, I jumped. I actually broke the stratosphere, and I was way, way, way above the earth. And the dream literally felt like it was hours long, because I kept watching the earth getting further and further and further and further and further and further. I even passed the moon, and then at that point, like I often do in my dreams, I literally told myself, okay, Mike, you gotta stop. You gotta get back to earth. And of course, that's when I start careening down to earth, like smoke and like steam and like whatever passing by me, and of course, and then I wake up. And these dreams, again, I've had this dream at least 20 times. The last time I had this dream was actually about a year ago maybe, and that was the roller coaster one. Now, this next dream, and yeah, this next dream is going to be a little bit interesting, so be warned. In this dream, and this dream is again one of my recurring dreams, and the last time I had this dream was about 6 years ago. So it always starts off like I'm sleeping and I wake up, and it's very strange because I can't tell if I am awake or if I am asleep. And it's a dream that the best way I can describe this dream is, I would call it the duality. So everything is positive and negative in this dream. So everything is split right down the middle, blue and red. Dream, and I don't see anything, but I know that there's something above me. And the more I become aware of it, the more I can see these the beings. But it's hard to describe because even though I can actually see them, it's like you're seeing the air and you know what the air actually looks like. It's not just invisible, but it's the physical manifestation of what the air would actually look like. That's the best way I could describe it, looking at them. So the one on the right is the one that is blue, and on that side everything is cool, serene, calm, and you're just at peace. And everything is like you literally forget all of your life's problems when you're on that side. And then you turn to the left side, the side where it's the red, and that one it's as if the air physical manifestation was a fire being. So everything on that side is all shaking and reverberating and very hot and very intense, and you are aware of every single one of your issues and your problems all at once. And the weird thing about this is that you actually remember all the previous dreams of that one that you have had, and it always seems like it's a direct continuation from that previous dream, and it just feels like you're in this torture, that you're physically in the dream, but you're also physically somewhere else, and you're also physically in reality as well, sleeping in your bed. And the time just seems to not actually flow, and it's really creepy, and there's nothing that you can do to snap yourself out of it. And then the other side was like this, gets your attention, and everything, whatever was going on over here, never happened. And it's really weird because you know something just happened, but you cannot remember it for the life of you. You're just in a calm place, everything is serene, and they back and forth you. So this dream I've had since, again, I was a kid, and the last time I've had this dream was about 6 years ago, before I moved to my new place. So up until I moved to this place, I've been having this dream. So I'm glad in particular that dream freaking stopped, because it literally feels like forever. So the last dream, not the next one, but the last dream kind of ties into this one. You'll see why. So the next dream nightmare is one that always makes me sad. I didn't have many of these, but I did have them at least 3 times in my life. So my mother is still alive, thank God. Good health. But about when I was 10 years old, I had this dream where yeah, I gotta try not to get emotional. So I had this dream where my mother and I were living in Park X, and there was a field. So my mother and I took a walk one day. This is, again, just a dream. So we took a walk in the field, and this field is the field where in real life I found a nest of mice being attacked by bees. and I shooed the bees away, and I was getting stung, but I didn't realize it. And I saved the lives of the little baby mice. And then I got home and I realized my hand was like all stung and like swollen. So in this dream, I'm with my mother, who I love very much. Raised 3 boys alone, and we're walking in the field. And I could never remember what it is that we're talking about, but we're walking in the field, and then she tells me that whatever happens, she will always love me. And all of a sudden, there's this loud bang, a huge flash of white that blinds everything. And then when the light, like, I'm calling out to my mom, I'm like, Mom, Ma, where are you? I can't see you. Where are you? And I can't. She's not there responding. And then the light clears, and my hands are like this, and I look in my hands, and it's the skeleton of my mother, and I'm holding it, and I'm just a boy left alone in the world that is no longer existing. There's literally nothing left around me. There's no buildings, there's no grass, there's no people, there's no birds, there's no animals, there's no nothing. It's just me in a world of rubble holding the skeletal corpse of my mother. And I've had this dream more than once in different type of situations, and I can't remember the other ones. I know I've had them more often than just 3 times, but I literally can't remember any of them apart from that one. And whenever I would go, and as I was growing, I would think about that dream. It would literally start making me well up and be like, I can't. Anyways, whatever. I'm not a mama's boy, but I love my mom like you wouldn't believe. She's an amazing woman, and she raised an amazing family. Very, very difficult. She went through some freaking hell, but I love her very much, and I'm very happy to still have her in my life. Now, before I get to the last dream, so I've been saying that all my dreams are always like these surreal dreams, but they always feel more real than the reality that I'm inhabiting right now for some odd, strange reason. Am I in the freaking Matrix? So in this dream, this one happened about a year ago. This is kind of like a lighthearted dream to lead into the final dream. So a few years ago, I had broken this hand, and I needed reconstructive surgery. They had placed some pins in my hand to put the bones back together, and even to this day, it's not 100%. So in this dream, somebody actually invaded my house, and I was the only one that was not in the house, but my family was. So I snuck into the house, and I apprehended the fiend. Disarmed him and whatever. Then I made sure that my family was all safe. I'm like, you guys, are you okay? Is anybody hurt? And things like this. And then my family starts screaming because apparently the guy had gotten up, and he had another gun in his jacket pocket, and he was pulling it out. So I'm looking over here. This is where my family is, and he's from over there. And I decide to give the guy a good smash with the back of my fist. And as I'm doing that and about to make contact, this is the guy's face, and I'm this far away from making contact, I wake up. And this is really weird because I don't know what it was that made me wake up, but actually in real life, what happened was I was sleeping on this side, and I usually either sleep on my back or looking to my left. But this time I was on my right. And what I ended up doing during my sleep was I'm doing the same motion that I'm doing in the dream. And keep in mind I have the cast, and my hits are hard, and if I actually landed, I would have broken the cast, and I would have messed up my hand even worse by jamming the pins into the muscle and the flesh and potentially the other bones. So I woke up, and my hand was literally this far away from hitting my desk that was right next to my bed. So now for my final dream, which is one of the most messed up dreams that I've had in my life, and I remember this so vividly. It was crazy. So kind of cosmic type of dream. Not Lovecraftian, but very out there. So in the dream, like I'm aware that I'm dreaming, because I do also have quite a few lucid dreams. I'm quite in control of most of my dreams. Most of the time during terrible nightmares, I've literally told myself, Michael, wake up, you are in a dream, we gotta get out of here. And then I wake up. All right, so in the dream, again, I'm conscious that I'm awake, and I'm waiting outside the bus stop. It's a nice sunny day. It's a perfect, beautiful day, right? Not too hot, not cold, but beautiful, warm. I'm not sweating. It was just very nice. So the bus finally comes. I get on. The bus driver puts his hand over the toll, the fare, and says, no charge. I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. Let's have a seat. So I sit down, and I'm listening to music, and I'm facing this way. And actually, no, sorry, the opposite way of how I'm sitting now. And this person next to me taps me on the shoulder. So I take my headphones off. Interesting. All right, cool. So I take off my headphones, and I physically turn. No, actually, no, I didn't physically turn yet. So I turn, and then I can't figure out whether it was a male or female. Very androgynous. So I turn, and she asks me, I guess it was a female. It looked female. This is not one of those. Anyways, so she says, do you mind if I talk to you? I go, sure. So then at that point, I turned my body physically around to face her, and starts talking to me. And it was a very pleasant conversation. And I'm looking around the bus as we're talking, and people are looking. For whatever reason, people were looking at me, talking, and start laughing. Whatever. And then at that point, when I laughed, she asked me, where do you think you are right now? And I go, well, I look around, and I'm like, well, we're clearly on. So I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it wasn't a jam-packed bus, but almost all the seats were taken. And she asked me, how many people are looking at you right now? I'm like, at that point, even the bus driver was turned in his seat, watching this, and I noticed that the bus had stopped. And I'm like, yeah, why is everybody actually looking at me? And I'm actually saying this, asking myself this in the dream, and everybody hearing me. I'm like, why is everybody actually looking at me? And I turned to her, I'm like, so why is everybody looking at me? And then she goes, who do you even think that you're talking to right now? I'm like, well, I'm clearly talking to you. And then she turns to the people on the bus. She goes, do you guys see anybody on the bus? There was no response. And then I look, and even though she was there, she was not there. Like, I can see her with my own eyes, but if I had a second set of eyes, I could clearly see that there was nobody there. So I was like, I put my headphones back on, and I turn around, and I just look out the window. I'm like, okay, my stop is coming up any moment. I'm just going to, wait it out. 5 minutes, I'll be here. Ding, press the button, you get off the bus, home sweet home, right? So I'm listening to my music, and then I'm hearing her voice, and I'm seeing her. She goes, where the hell do you think you are? And I'm like, Michael, ignore it. And she goes, you think you are gonna ignore me and you are gonna wait me out? Oh, that's rich. So I'm ignoring, and then I notice in the dream that an hour passed. And I was literally 2 stops away from my house. And I'm realizing that we're just driving by the same place. Like, you know, when you're having a movie and you see the frames, well, all the frames just were repeating. And then it just stops, and each frame was like a second was lasting for a day. And she goes, listen, you, I've outsmarted people smarter than you. There's no way that you can wait me out. I am time, I am space, I am reality. And right now you are trapped in a pocket dimension of your own hell that you cannot escape. And even when you wake up, you will still be trapped in this pocket dimension. And every time you go to sleep and you have a dream, you are back in my world, and every dream will feel like the previous one, as if this was your reality. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I've watched like a lot of horror movies. I like Lovecraft stuff. And in this dream, I felt years passing, and then this is the part I don't remember how the dream ends, but I do remember the last thing that she said, and that was, you're gonna wake up now, and you'll be back. And poof, I woke up. And it was so strange because as alert as I was in the dream, that's the alertness level that I woke up. It didn't even feel like that. It just felt like a transition from the dream to reality, and I was just like lying in bed for literally a half an hour. And the more time goes, you know, the more you forget the dream. And I was like, yeah. So welcome to my life. Welcome to my world. The living, breathing, Lovecraftian nightmare that I have been living with for the past X amount of years. They're not all nightmares. I do have quite a few great nightmares, but as great dreams as I have equally terrifying dreams. So maybe if you guys like this video, I can do a second video where I talk about my good dreams. If not, hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. If you want to leave me a comment, please do. And as always, stay safe. And as always, stay safe, stay sane, and stay strong. I will be back. I appreciate you. GiggaVega out.